Welcome everyone to Pontos Fathom Press. Today we're doing the book 2 of the Killing with Bogman saga. We're going to do a quick review of the Carolina Tobacco Geist, the sequel to the Killing with Bogman. We've also have a video talking about the Killing with Bogman. Over on our Patreon, I'm going to be doing full read-throughs of these books, as well as the August Moldenhauer's Genealogy of Cthulhu, Psychoanalysis of Rillier, and Archaeology of Yog-Sothoth. Also, we'll be doing podcasts this month on Frank Herbert's Dune, so check those podcasts out, and we'll be companioning Dune with Dune Revenant reviews. So, hey, let's jump into Carolina Tobacco Geist. So, you might want to take a look at the Killing with Bogman review first, book 1. Today we're going to focus on Carolina Tobacco Geist. So the Carolina Tobacco Geist is the Bogman artifact collection as chronicled by the 2003 essay Collecting the Bogman was burned in a fire in the home of Ben Samagos in Providence, Rhode Island. William Mitchell had entrusted the collection to his care after the death of McRae, with Magos legally named as the sole custodian. The blaze destroyed all evidence of the Bogman artifacts with the fire that consumed Magos' home. Of interesting note was that the home of Magos had once been the residence of a young H.P. Lovecraft who lived there 3 months as a young teenager when convalescing from a lung infection under the care of a relative. And so on the December day of 2005, both a Lovecraft historical home and a Bogman collection were taken from the world, Killing with Bogman 2009. So we have the contents here, the Tobacco Geist, the introduction 2017, 1595 Madre de Dios, spanning history, 1785 Tobacco Geist, 1848 the Durham Plantation, 1877 Reconstruction, Moonshiners 1928, Quarantine 1958, Emphysema Funeral 1977, Cancer Ward 2009. Also an afterword and artifact collection, and the Bogman files including the Smoking Mirror Jaguar 2012, Ozema Troopers, and then various appendices. The Blaine Family Tree, Notes on the Declaration, Carolina Tobacco Lore, Sir Walter's Secret, the Aztec Curse, the Owl Dream, Photography, and the Scarecrow Burning. Carolina Bogman. The Tobacco Geist, translated from the German. He comes to drink the blood of the slaves. Tobacco ghoul, he drinks the blood. He rips the flesh of Union soldier. He tears the throat of rebel soldier. Tobacco ghoul, bloodless victims, pale and white. From Carolina tobacco fields, he rises like a scarecrow from hell. Remember the Killing with Bogman and the American Indian Curse. The Tobacco Geist will kill you. The Tobacco Geist will bring you back from the dead. Fear and terror, take care, Tobacco Geist. Pray to your God to save your soul. Introduction 2010. Somewhere between death and life, no, not life, somewhere between the end of life and the end that is death, there is a place undying. Were we to map this place, we would find ourselves off the map, or at least at the margins annotated by the familiar warning, here there be monsters. From the black bowels of the undead comes the likes of the Killing with Bogman and Carolina Tobacco Geist, both spirits of vengeance or instruments of some hated force pitted against humanity. Perhaps this dark angel was born out of the Indian curse, a blood debt from the first Americans, the native peoples and their tribes that once roamed from the Massachusetts and Connecticut tribes down through the Potomac and into the lands of the Algonquin and Iroquois, for these peoples were the first custodians of this land. Have the monsters of nighttime fireside stories all gone, or are there monsters more, monsters still, the unfinished business of the fallen angels, damned to knowledge earthly and denied grace heavenly, ever writhing in chafing chains that bar them from salvation? Could this be the origin of the curse, that unquenchable thirst, only whetting unholy appetites that grasp to power? From New England to Durham, this curse was laid down upon colonial soil. From north to south lay this inverted cross, not out of redemption, but of damnation. Pray there was some archangel aware and poised to act, some wielder of a sword of light to cut the knotted Stygian darkness. A power greater than ours is required, Gnostic, redemptive, to heal such a granite deep carved wound. Pray to her, the Virgin, that she reveals the path away from this darkness, as black as boiled pig's blood and offal, out of the grave and into the world of life. Only then in this hope can we claim some peace, can we take and say that there we are living. And yet, you're taking pause to notice something that is not right, something that is amiss. And what of this fear? Do you not trust your faith? Do you not await the response of your prayers? If you have no repair to stay, then you will turn away now from the face of that which can rob you of that pearl of great price, your immortal soul. We go into the section from June 1595, the Madre de Dios, off the coast of the Virginia colony, following Sir Walter Raleigh, and a secret he has about tobacco. Just a quick read here. As La Madre de Dios was tossed upon the seas of the tempest, Raleigh was already in another world, the world of writing his journal. He wrote with a quickened pace as the thunder-deep rumble shook timbers and keel. We thought of those tales as no more than campfire yarns and flights of fancy, tales to pass the time and frighten children, but soon we would realize the grim and sanguine truth behind these pagan demon songs. Following our native guides, whose savage orientation agreed with our maps of South America, procured from our Spanish foes, we lay anchor to a small cove adjacent to the markings for the lost city of gold, El Dorado. We rowed out with a small expedition to the way indicated by the markings of our Spanish-made maps, taking our quest on foot into the darkest heart of Amazonian jungles. So sure were we that this was the way to the lost city of El Dorado. But soon our maps and guides proved useless. Once inland, and for weeks El Dorado was not the only thing lost, for we wandered like madmen in the humid heat of the Amazonian jungles. By the second week, half of our men were taken by a jungle fever that boils the mind alive and ruptures the flesh with pustulant buboes. Once emerged, led to death hours later. Only the taking of tobacco smoke did we manage to keep alive, and in good spirits. Our numbers were cut in half again by attacks from the giant black cats, the panther and puma, as well as the malarial bites from insects of all sorts. In the end, after weeks of wandering and reduced to a quarter of our numbers, we came upon by the members of that Southern American tribe of Aztecs, who we shared tobacco smoke and stories. Once they began to recount their own myths of the tobacco gods, only then did we learn the truth of that most ancient curse, a curse well known to the Aztec and sourced to the primal evil, causing more older than the ousted of man from paradise. Our Aztec hosts had the ceremony to bring the dead back to life, using the tobacco leaf to preserve the body in mummified and in the anoxic peat bogs. The witch doctors among them claimed the tobacco and the bogman curse were at work in all the places where tobacco was smoked. It was in such a ceremony of tobacco smoke, with which a witch doctor and the Azteca chieftain, that the secret was whispered to me, whispered through the exhalations of that tobacco smoke under the witnessing stars. When our trail for El Dorado ran cold, we returned to our ships and eventually set sail to La Madre de Dios to return to Roanoke. But when we returned to Virginia, we found that the Roanoke colony had been destroyed and all the colonists missing. The journals of the missing colonists told of a creature rising from the tobacco fields of the Carolinas, an undying creature with leathery skin and possessed to feed upon the still living flesh of the Virginia colonists, filling its gluttonous belly with human meat. The journals of the colonists spoke of the hearing of roaring sounds in the night, torn out of some leathery throat. In the end, the colonists managed to burn the creature to death, and it sank back into the bog near the tobacco fields from where it rose. What fate befell those surviving colonists I never ascertained, as they were vanished upon our arrival, with only the ruins of Roanoke to remain behind, as an evidence of ever having lived in the New World. I was never able to bring the glory of the City of Gold to return to England, but the secret I carry to Her Majesty the Queen carries with it a mystical nature more powerful in the end, more valued than any gold or any colony for that matter, for I bring her the secret of undying life. And so Sir Walter Raleigh would return to Queen Elizabeth with his secret of the tobacco curse. And then The book continues through American history up to modern times, through Civil War, slave ownerships, Prohibition times and 1970s, some news article clippings. The book also discusses the owl creatures and also has some still photos of the tobacco geist. And finally, some other New England sightings to discuss. So it's a quick intro to Carolina Tobacco Geist. It is second part of Killing with Bogman. If you're interested in more, over on our Patreon, I'll be doing the full read-through of that book. Can also check in the link below to support us by picking up a copy. Like to hear your comments below, and feel free to join us on Patreon. If you like what we're doing here, it's a big help to us to like, share, subscribe, and as we try to build the channel. As I mentioned before, we're also going to be doing a podcast this month related to Dune. We've got a number of interesting podcasts on Dune. Also doing a game playthrough if you're into monsters and horror on our gaming channel. We'll be doing some solo play with Conan board game by Monarch, in which Conan faces these preternatural foes similar to this. So it's a fun channel to go check things out in. And as usual, thanks for your support, and hope to talk to everyone soon. Thanks, and bye-bye.